Hey guys, I know this setup isn't the greatest. I had to rearrange my room. It was really hard to figure out where to put my camera since how I usually set it up, the printer is now on the floor and whatnot. So I hope that this works, but this is going to be my April wrap-up where I go through the books I read in April and tell you what star rating I gave them on Goodreads, as well as my May TBR of the books I'm going to read in May. And it is still early in the morning. I'm kind of out of it, and I know that this is kind of late. It's already May and whatnot, but there's been a lot going on. Finals week is next week. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way now. So starting with the books that I read in April, the first book that I finished, I think I finished this on April 1st, I think, is Winesburg, Ohio by Sherwood Anderson, which I read for my humanities class, and I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I get that it's like a classic, and I get why it's a classic, but it's basically a set of short stories that are all connected but aren't like one coherent, cohesive story, and I couldn't get into that just because I couldn't keep up with the characters. It was confusing and all of that, so I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. This book I left at home when I went home for Easter, which is going to be a lot of these books, but it is Beastly by Alex Flynn, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really love Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favorite movies ever, one of my favorite Disney movies, and so I've really wanted to read more Beauty and the Beast adaptations, and I liked that one. There were some downsides to it, I think, but overall I really did like it. The next book I read is an ebook, and it is Cool Japan by Sumiko Kajiyama, and I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. It's kind of an odd for a history book because I had for a travel book because I had a lot of history in it too, and so it was kind of like half history book, half travel book, which I liked because I kind of liked learning the history. But it was kind of repetitive, and a lot of the information was repeated multiple times, which kind of got a little boring at times, but overall I did really like it. Next book I read was Girl at the End of the World by Elizabeth Esther, which is a book that I got for review, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I loved that book. It's a memoir about the author's childhood growing up in a fundamentalist Christian cult that her grandfather started, and just how she got out of the cult, and how she kind of like is recovering, I suppose, after all of the traumatic experiences she had in there. And it was a great book, a very emotional book at times, and just very, very interesting, because I think you don't think of fundamentalist Christians when you think of cults, and she's not saying that all fundamentalist Christians are cults, it's like her specific church, and it was very, very interesting to me. And then the next book that I read this month was Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, which I also read for my humanities class, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars as well, and I also added it to my all-time favorites shelf, which is the first book of 2014 to have that. I think I added one in 2013 to that shelf, and so far this is the only one in 2014. I loved this book so much. I feel like I don't get how someone who reads a lot could not love this book. Like, everything it says about why books and knowledge are important, and just everything about this book, plus it's dystopia, which I love dystopia because it's so fascinating to me to think about how screwed up our world is, because I think dystopians do a really good job of that, if they're a good dystopian, of showing you how our own world is messed up, because you see ways that world scares you, and then you can see how our world is kind of similar. I don't know if that makes sense, but that made me think a lot, and I really, really loved this book. Next book was Red Riding Hood by Sarah Blakely Cartwright, and what's the other author's name? So I think that Sarah Blakely Cartwright wrote this, and then it's based on the screenplay for a movie that was written by, David Leslie Johnson. So they're both credited as authors, and I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. I bought this book back when the movie came out. I heard about it through, this is a novelization of the movie, so the movie came first and then this. And I heard about it and I was like fascinated. I still am fascinated by werewolves. I don't read enough werewolf books, so I bought this. I've had it for a really long time. Heard nothing but bad things about it, but I was going to read it anyway, and I, like I said, gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It was not that good. The story really didn't make sense. It was bad. It kind of sucked because the writer's writing, like her prose, is good and I really liked it, but the story is horrible. And it's just like, because she didn't come up with the story herself, it was given to her, and so I can't help but wonder if she was coming up with a story on her own, if it would have been better. And it makes me want to know, but this, she has like no other books, so may never know. But I did, like, I don't know, I just, the story wasn't good and it didn't make sense. The ending was horrible, and the last chapter is not even in this book. You have to go to a website because they wanted to avoid spoilers for the movie, but now it's on this website and anyone can go read the ending. So I don't know, just did not like it. My phone went off. My phone's about to go dead, and I'm hoping it doesn't while I'm filming because I won't be able to use it anymore. But okay, the second to last book that I read in April was The Destiny Quest Chronicles by Varen Vashis, and I could be saying that wrong. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. Okay, this was really short, but also just, I don't even know what I read. Okay, I downloaded it because it was for free, and it's part of a series, but I'm really confused about that too, because apparently if you go buy the next book in the series, there's a part of it that you can skip if you've read this. So like, I think that this is like just the beginning of that other book, and it was made free, and then you have to go buy the entire first book is kind of what I'm getting, but it's also really confusing and I don't understand it. And I don't even know how to explain, because I don't understand how it works. But it's very short and honestly makes no sense. I had no idea what was happening. I don't think that the author is a native English speaker, just based on how things are worded. And at the beginning of sentences, there would never be articles at the beginning of sentences, like a, and the. If they were supposed to be at the beginning of a sentence, they weren't there, which made so many sentences really, really awkward. And just, but like, even with the awkward wording a lot of the times, I just had no idea what was going on, and it made no sense. And yeah, so 1 out of 5 stars. And then the last book that I read in April was Reflection Pond by Casey Vanderkar, which I received for review, and I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I loved that book. It was about fairies, and it was the first kind of book that I'd ever read focused on fairies, and it's the first in the series, which means I have to go read the others, which kind of sucks because I'm doing that a lot lately, and I have so many series that I need to get through, and it's really bad. But I loved it. It was so fascinating to me, and it completely, I've known that I need to read more fairy stuff for a while, but that kind of cemented it, because I loved it and it was so cool, and I cannot wait to get to the second book for that. So those were all the books that I read in April. I did not get through my TBR, even though I think I read 8 books, including the books for school and whatnot. I didn't finish one of the books that were on my TBR. I'm reading it now. It's the first in my May TBR. Usually I have school books in my TBRs, but all I have left is finals, so that's over. No school books in this TBR. I'm going to go through 5 books that I'm going to try and read in May. First is Matched by Ali Condi, which is out of the Dust Jacket because I'm reading it right now. This was in my April TBR. It's May 3rd right now, so keeping in mind that we're 3 days into May, I have made it to here. I have this much left. I have chapter 25. I think there are 32 when I checked, so 8 chapters left. I don't like doing math in front of camera because you see how much I struggle with it, but I'm really, really loving this so far, like kind of becoming obsessed, and it's another series that I'm going to have to get the other books for, but it's dystopian, and I was ranting earlier in this video about how much I love dystopian, and it deals with being told who your soulmate is, which is I don't know why I'm looking at it when it's plain white, but it is something that idea of that has always fascinated me. Like the idea of what would it be like if you were told who your soulmate was, and there aren't enough stuff dealing with it, and I feel like everything I've read or movies I've watched that deal with that concept before have disappointed me. And one that comes to mind is the movie Timer, deals with being told when you're going to meet your soulmate, and I was not happy with the end of that movie. So far I'm liking this one, and this one is really, really fascinating me. Like, this is an idea because I know, like, when I was really little, I had the idea of, occur to me, what would happen if you could know who your soulmate was, and it's kind of been this idea that's in my mind ever since, and I've come up with so many things. Like, I kind of want to write my own book based around that idea at some point in time because I just have thought about it so much. So far this one is not disappointing me. I really, really like it, with the dystopian and being told who your soulmate is, and just all of these aspects of this book are just things that I love, and I am loving this, and I'm ranting far too long about this book, but I'm really loving it so far, and I'm hoping that the rest of the series keeps up with how much I'm loving that one. I should have kept my phone open because the next one is an ebook, and I could grab my Kindle, but my camera is sitting on my Kindle, so I'm going to have to go to my Kindle app on the phone. It just occurred to me when I opened my Kindle app that there's another book I'm reading right now. I got The Opportunity Equation for review, and because I got it for review, my Kindle app shows the email address that sent it to me and not the actual author. And I don't want to lose my place in the book, so I can't tell you who wrote that at the moment, but I am reading that. It's about education and a nonprofit group that's doing stuff with education, and since I thought it would be a good book since I'm becoming a teacher, I have mixed feelings on this book so far, but I'll review it when I get done with that as well. But then the other ebook that I'm going to read after Match is Highlights of Rome by Angela Van Kemenade, and it's like a travel book for Rome, and I love travel books because I'm living vicariously through the travel book, and Rome is a fascinating place, so I'm really looking forward to that and hoping that it's good. And then after that, I have Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradbury and Jean Graves, I don't know how to say that. I won this through a first reads giveaway on Goodreads. It's signed, which is awesome, and even with my name, so that's pretty cool. And it's an emotional intelligence test, and I'm not entirely sure what to expect from this. Obviously it's going to help me gauge my emotional intelligence, I guess, which will be really interesting because I've never really thought about, well, I don't want to say I've never thought about how emotionally intelligent I am, I've just never thought of it in those sorts of terms. So this could be really interesting. It has a blurb by the Dalai Lama, which is cool. It's supposed to be the world's most popular emotional intelligence test. So I'm becoming more emotionally intelligent is always awesome, so not entirely sure what to expect from this, but I am extremely interested in it. After this, I'm going to read another ebook because, like always, I transfer between print books and ebooks, but I've actually run out of ebooks that I own. So I need to download some more ebooks, probably free ones. Maybe. I have ebooks that I need to buy, primarily a series that I started and I need to finish. And then authors that I love who've published new books and I need to buy those. One series in particular, one of my favorite series in the entire world that I own entirely in ebook form, a new book came out, so I really need to get that. So, but it'll probably end up being a free ebook because I don't really have money to spend on ebooks, but I might because I really need to get those books and learn what happens in those series that I'm in the middle of. But there will be an ebook here, hopefully. If I don't, then I'll go straight to another ebook, I guess, if I don't download any ebooks. But the last book in my May TBR is Blonde Ops by Charlotte Bernardo and Natalie Zaman. I wish I was better at names. I won this in another first reads Goodreads giveaway. As you can see, it's an ARC. It's been a really long time since I've had an ARC, which is awesome. I don't know a ton about this other than the fact that it's about this girl who's expelled from a boarding school for hacking, like hacking computers, and she is sent to Rome to intern for a fashion magazine, and something happens with the first lady who comes to Rome. I'm assuming that it's the American first lady, but it doesn't really specify. It just says the first lady comes to Rome, and I think she does something as like a spy or something. I don't know, it should be interesting. So it caught my attention in the giveaway, so I'm really looking forward to it. It seems like it'll be like a really light-hearted thing, and it seems kind of summery. I don't know why, but just, I guess because she's in a dress on the cover, but also like for some reason being sent off to Rome for an internship kind of seems like summer for me, probably because of all those movies where kids go to Rome for summer break together and then just run around. Like the Lizzie McGuire movie is coming to mind. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and I have started rambling a lot in this video, so I'm gonna go now, and I will see you guys later. Bye.